Before moving on to the video, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the notification button. Have a nice time.
Hello, my name is Jessica. I live in London. I am 35 years old. I am married and I have 2 children, a boy and a girl. My husband is an engineer. We had a very beautiful marriage. Lately, my husband has started to lose interest in me. Because of his work, he would come home very late and leave very early in the morning. I was very disturbed by this situation. I needed male kindness, just like every other woman. As the days passed, my love for my husband began to diminish. Now my feelings for him started to decrease. But I wasn't telling this to my husband. My son is 15 and my daughter is 14. One day, when I went to pick up my son from school, we met my son's teacher there. I fell in love with her from the first look. He took my number. And from that day on, we started talking on the phone. As the days passed, I started to love him. I no longer saw my husband in his big eyes. It's like my children's father is my son's teacher. What I did may not be nice, but sometimes you can't control your feelings. But I get the love from him that I don't get from my husband. And finally, he proposed to meet. He had reserved a nice place in the restaurant. I put on my beautiful dress and went out. We met and talked about our lives. And then he took me dancing. That evening was the happiest night I have ever seen in my life. He was slowly embracing me and pulling me towards him. I wasn't bothered by this situation. And then we started kissing. We were kissing so beautifully that I didn't want this night to end. It's been a long time since I felt comfortable in someone's arms. Then I said I had to go home, and he drove me home. When I returned home, my husband had not come home, and my son met me at the door. My son asked me, "Mom, where do you come from?" I replied that I was at my friend's birthday party. It's like my son was suspicious anyway, I can't tell him. Then I went to my room. I could feel his breath on my body. It was called the smell of love. And then I went to bed, and we started corresponding on the phone. And then my husband came home and was tired. He immediately laid down and started sleeping. This didn't bother me anymore, and I was living my own love. I woke up in the morning, and when we woke up, your husband told me that I had to go abroad because of his work. When I heard this, I started to rejoice within myself. Then I hurriedly gathered his belongings and took a taxi to the airport. Then your girlfriend called me and said she wanted to meet with me. I wanted to sleep with him now. I wanted to wake up in the morning in his arms. But the children could not stay at home alone. I sent the children to my mother for an excuse. I called my boyfriend and said, "Let's meet at home." He said he will come at night. I made a nice dinner and wore a nice dress. I was waiting, and I was so excited that I can't explain it, as if I was going to be with someone for the first time. The door rang. I opened it. The man of my life had arrived. He handed me a flower in his hand, and then we had dinner. Then he started kissing me slowly. We started making love like crazy, went to bed and had sexual intercourse with him for 4 hours. I couldn't get enough of her. She had such a beautiful body that I couldn't stop kissing her. We slept in bed that night. I woke up in his arms in the morning. This made me very happy. I woke up in the morning and was preparing breakfast for the man in my house. We had dinner in the morning. My lover left. I've been thinking about him all day. Now it was like he was my husband. I was waiting for him to come. The evening came again. I opened the door, jumped in, and we were kissing in her arms. Then he said, "Let's go to bed immediately." We make love like crazy in bed. Frankly, his was bigger than my husband's, and it made me feel very comfortable. Once he inserted it, it was enough for me. He was so obsessed with me that night that I didn't enjoy it that much. That night in bed, he told me to leave your husband. I want to marry you. Of course, this was what I wanted most, but I have children. How can I do this? But my boyfriend was insistent on this issue and wanted me to divorce. I said it was too early for this. Then, my darling, I started thinking about this issue. Our relationship with my husband was not going well at all, and I think divorce is the best solution. But I don't know how to say it. One evening, my girlfriend came to me and we started having sex with her again. We were making love in the bedroom, and at that moment, my son opened the door of the room and came in. At that moment, my world collapsed. He caught us in an inappropriate position in bed. I was lying down, my legs were up, and my lover was on top of me, thrusting in and out of me. At that moment, my son saw us. Of course, he was in shock. Seeing his mother in bed with another man is not what every child wants. My son left the room and didn't say anything at that moment. I ran to him in a hurry. I was standing completely naked in front of my son. I said to him, "Son, I love this man very much. Our relationship with your father is not possible. I will leave your father and marry this man." My son got angry with me. We had a fight. Then my son went to his room. He said, "Darling, if you want, I can talk to your son. No, let him calm down a bit. I'll talk to you." Then I went to my son's room. We talked to him. I told my son everything. My son, how much I love him. Then he gave me the answer that I never expected. "Mom, do whatever makes you happy. I want you to be happy." But he said, "You have to tell my father about this situation." And I said, "You're right, son. I'll tell you." Then my husband returned home. And over dinner, I said to my husband, "It's no longer possible. I want a divorce. There is someone else in my life." My daughter knew what happened, and my husband didn't say anything that evening. He said, "I wish you happiness in your life," and slammed the door and left. The kids and I stayed at home, then don't get angry and tell my son everything. The children respected my decision and said, "Mom, we support you until the end." One evening, my girlfriend came home and became acquainted with my children. He already knew my son. My girlfriend is my son's teacher. We had a pleasant dinner that evening. The kids got along well with my boyfriend. A week later, I realized that my ex-husband got married the same evening I left, and he already had someone else in his life. I also married my lover, and we have a very happy life now.